Hey bourbon fans, I'm Tim the Suburban Dad, helping dads like you find great bourbon, trying to cut through all the noise in the bourbon world, all the bottles you should just avoid, focusing on the ones that are great and findable. Today I want to talk about store pick bottles that I personally recommend based on great bottles that I've had. You might be wondering, well, what is a store pick exactly? What is a single barrel? So a store pick bottle is where a team from a liquor store, oftentimes the owner and some trusted friends, they go to the distillery or have the ambassador from the distillery come to them, and they get to taste different samples from the bourbon that they're looking to get. They get a whole barrel that they buy, and then all the bottles from that barrel they sell from their store, and it's their own unique pick. It's not just the small batch or the general release that that distillery usually does. So you can get some really neat, really unique bottles this way. Now they tend to be a little pricier because again, they're unique. It's just one barrel and you're never going to get that same barrel again. So any of these recommendations that I give, just take with a grain of salt, because you could get a single barrel from any of these that I'm going to recommend and you might think, oh, this is not good. This is not very great. And that's true. I'm just giving you ones that have been tried and true for me so far, and I feel very confident recommending them to you. First on the list, hard to beat, Knob Creek Single Barrel Bourbon. Not the rye, the bourbon. So these are 120 proof. They always proof it down to 120. These are just the 9-year small batch ramped up to 10. I mean, the flavors are unreal on these. Cost is only about $60, so it's really a great deal. Maker's Mark. Maker's Mark does their private stave selection. You get to choose your profile from 5 different categories. Each category has different flavor characteristics, and the more staves you have from that category are going to add more of different flavors, and you can add all different combinations up to 10 staves. So 10 staves from any combination of these different categories. It's very important to know which profiles you like. I know the ones that I like. In fact, you can check out my video about this right up here. Maker's Mark picks are usually around $75. They're a little bit more costly. And proof range is, I think, anywhere from like 108 to 112, somewhere in there. It's pretty narrow. Very, very tasty. You can get some really unique bottles. The flavors are all over the place. So this is one. Be careful of what profile you're getting, because that can really determine whether you love it or can't stand it. Yellowstone. So out of Limestone Branch Distillery, their star picks have always been tasty to me. They've got 102 proof, 109 proof, 115, and newly added 119 proof. It seems to me so far that the 109 is actually the sweet spot. For some reason, normally I gravitate towards the highest proof I can get, but in this case, 109 is right there. These come in right around $55, $60. Blue Note, uncut, unfiltered. I've got one of these picks from Total Wine. I've only had one so far, but I am very confident in referring you guys to this because these bottles are just delicious. And they're probably the cheapest one I'm going to recommend. It's only about $45, 48 maybe. These hover around 120 proof, into the mid 120s. Old Dominick and or Huling Station. So Huling Station is MGP juice that they've blended, and they have their own distillate, so Old Dominick is their own stuff. Whether it's their Old Dominick bourbon, whether it's Old Dominick Tennessee whiskey, whether it's their Huling Station bourbon, not the wheat whiskey. I'm not a big fan of wheat whiskey, but any of those other categories, those are delicious. They retail for about 60-ish bucks. And whoo, I just got a Tennessee whiskey single barrel, 132 proof. Man, is it good. Elijah Craig barrel proof. So of course they do the 3 annual releases, but you can also get a store pick Elijah Craig barrel proof. These vary in age, 8, 9, or 10 years. I don't know if they go above that anymore, especially since their yearly releases are below 12 years at times. Proof is all over the place, from the 1 teens up to over 130. And cost-wise, they're about 80 bucks plus. Jack Daniel's Barrel Proof Single Barrel Tennessee Whiskey. I think I got all those characteristics in there. This one is pretty common. I could go to most liquor stores around here and find it. And again, the proof is rather variable. It's usually in the 120s into the 130s. Very, very rich, complex tasting notes on these. Wonderful stuff. Those retail for about 65, 70 bucks. Last but not least, Four Roses Single Barrel Strength. So these are probably the most allocated of this list that I'm talking about. These are hard to find. Cost is going up. They used to be around 80 bucks. Now they're 110, 115, 125. Depending on the recipe, they can be amazing. If you find one for 100 bucks or less, grab it. Probably even up to 110. If it's 125, you got to just make a decision. How much of a Four Roses fan are you? Where's the pick from? What's the recipe? All those are things that I would consider before snatching one at 125 bucks. There you have it, guys. Single barrel store picks that you will love. I can just about guarantee it. If you don't love it, I mean, what's wrong with you? Thanks for watching. Let me know, what are some of your favorite store picks that you've had? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, cheers.